Good afternoon, and welcome to the Tri-City Regional Chambers Annual Meeting. I'm Toby Boucher, past chair of the board of this dynamic organization. I picked up my Tri-City Herald this morning and opened it to the horoscopes, which I do just for fun every day. And my horoscope says, an old-fashioned event is likely to bring you together with those who share your attitudes and aspirations. So I thought it was very appropriate that we have all of us together to celebrate an old-fashioned event with new twists and turns and new ideas, new thoughts, and shared opinions for another year for the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce. Today's annual meeting program is jam-packed with awards presentations to volunteers, supporters, successful businesses, celebrating the Chamber's recent accomplishments, hearing firsthand about the exciting plans for this year, and then capping it off with our keynote speaker, Dan Preston, who will share his path to prosperity with us all. As we all know, the success of a large-scale event like today's annual meeting is only possible with the financial support of many sponsors. Kim Richards, the Chamber's Programs and Partnerships Director, who put this luncheon together, has done a fabulous job of getting these sponsors all lined up. There's quite a list, so how about we hold the applause until everyone's been called, and then we thank them all at once. Our premier sponsor today is Numerica Credit Union. This is the first year as premier sponsor, and we're grateful for it and delighted about their involvement. We'll hear more about Numerica Credit Union a little later in the program. Thank you for your premier sponsorship. Our diamond sponsor is Cascade Natural Gas Corporation, and our gold sponsors include Kennewick General Hospital, Three Rivers Convention Center, Legends Casino, Cadillac Regional Medical Center, Agra Northwest. Our silver sponsors include Mid-Columbia Leadership Development Association, Marcus Whitman Hotel and Conference Center, Tri-City Herald, KNDU TV, Tri-Cities Area Journal of Business, Town Square Media, Wild Horse Resort and Casino, and Washington River Protection Solutions. Our bronze sponsors today include Bittendorf's Printing and Design, John Clement Gallery, Washington Policy Center, American Leak Detection, WGU Washington, Fluor Federal Services, Port of Kennewick, Charter Business, Brashears Professional Photography, Western States Insurance, and I'd also like to recognize our friends from Charter Communications who are so graciously filming today's program for rebroadcast. Just Roses also donated our annual meeting to roses that you can see throughout the meeting. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And thank you again for all of our sponsors. Let's hear a round of applause. I read the speech I presented to you last year at this time. I reviewed it to see if we accomplished those things we set out to do during my term as chair. I'm pleased to say we exceeded expectations and are positioned to continue to cultivate and grow ongoing success. I appreciate and thank so many who have been a part of this tremendous achievement we've enjoyed throughout this year. This has been a year we've broken through the top of a plateau into new heights. We surpassed our planned revenue and held expenses to provide seed capital for new and continued programs. Our expanded business-to-business programs proved to be amazingly successful. I think you'll agree the Chamber is a success story and a business worthy of investment. Thanks to all of you who attended the Chamber activities this year. We consistently exceeded goals in attendance, participation, and sponsorships throughout the year in all our events and programs. Special appreciation is owed to our ambassadors who showed up at ribbon cuttings, grand openings, and Chamber activities in record numbers. You represent the face of the Chamber throughout the community. Your time spent and interest toward the Chamber are deeply appreciated and recognized. Throughout this year, I've been particularly honored to be a part of a dynamic executive committee and an engaged board of directors. As the direction of our Chamber was formulated during our board retreat, the plan and outputs were defined. We followed that plan and executed it as designed with positive results that often exceeded established targets. All of these amazing people need to take a bow. They helped bring the Chamber to new heights and broaden the horizon for the future. Our investors and Chamber staff, though, are the change agents who deserve much of the credit for success throughout the year. Through responsible management and fiscal responsibility, the staff consistently proved they are worthy of investment. Our investors and sponsors stepped up in record numbers to invest in our Chamber. Their partnership in events and programs make the difference in our Chamber's ability to reach our business community with services and programs that encourage growth and stability. This is a true regional Chamber representing you, your business, and your quality of life. I know the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce will continue to grow in size and recognition as the voice in the community. Thank you for the opportunity to serve as the 2011 chair. I leave my post with a challenge to each of you. Make this year even better than the last by further investing and participating in Chamber events and programs. Thank you. In my position as board chair last year, and now numerous years on the Regional Chamber Executive Committee, I've had the opportunity to work with many talented and successful business leaders in the Tri-Cities. The Regional Chamber is well served by an active and diverse board of directors, which is currently 34 strong. We would like to take a few minutes to recognize our board by asking them to stand. Please remain standing until everyone's been introduced, and then please hold your applause until everyone's standing. Members of our executive committee include Board Chair John Crook, Paragon Housing, Corporate Housing. Chair-elect Mike McWhorter, Western States Insurance. Treasurer Mike Neitzel, Benton Franklin Orthopedic Associates. Marty Conger, Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. Sloan Kimball with Northwest Exchange Facilitators. Judy Bacon, Roll Arena Skating Center. Tony Umack, Fleur Federal Services, and Renee Vasquez, Ennis Fine Furniture. The members of our board of directors include Ed Allen, Giza Credit Union, Sherry Armijo Abadan, Dave Barr, CLU, Ron Boninger, Ty Light, Rick Bradford, Bechtel National, Paul Carlisle, Elevate, Larry Christensen with Cadillac Regional Medical Center, Melissa Gerard, Washington River Protection Solutions, David Gilchrist, Tri-City Herald, Ron Huey, Hapo Community Credit Union, Chris Jensen, Mission Support Alliance, Don Carger, Henry's Restaurant, Russ Kiefer, Kennewick General Hospital, Scott Lynch, Swift Rehabilitation, Tom Mackey, Agra Northwest, Rochelle Olson, Energy Northwest, Teresa Richardson, Habitat for Humanity, Bill Shibley, Northwest Farm Credit Services, Joy Shoemake, CH2M Hill, Brad Smith, Washington Closure, Hanford, Dean Strawn, Dependable Janitor Services, Kevin Sullivan, Vista Engineering Technologies, Jeff Thompson, Windermere Group 1, Roland Thompson, Levy Thompson Financial Planners, and John Ziobro, Telquest Ziobro McMillan. Please join me in thanking the members of the Board of Directors for their time and leadership. Thank you. At the end of 2011, we also had a number of outgoing board members that had served on the board and committees for a very long time. We would like to have them join Lori and me so that we can present them with tokens of appreciation. Glenn Bestabure, board member, executive board member, Public Policy Committee Chair, Tri-Cities Legislative Council member and Chair. Jim Hall, board member, Cool Desert Nights Committee and Public Policy Committee. Jill Hefter, board member, executive board member, 4th of July Committee, Ambassador of the Year, Membership Committee, Small Business Resource Committee, and the last year's recipient of the Chamber Star Award. Michelle Mann, board member and Small Business Resource Committee member. Karen Miller, board member, executive board member, past chair of the Tri-City Area Chamber Merger Committee, and 4th of July Committee. Rick Peenstra, board member, executive board member, treasurer, and past chair of the Tri-City Area Chamber for 2 terms. Khurshid Sharifov, board member, executive board member, treasurer, budget committee chair, and small business resource committee chair. Steve Simmons, board chair, board member, executive board member, board development committee, Cool Desert Nights committee chair, government affairs committee chair. And Glenn Marshall could not be here today, but we'd like to recognize him for his many years of service on the board of directors. Let's all give them a big round of applause and thank them for what they've done to continue to do for the Chamber. Got it? This way. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. The Chamber also has a number of ex officio members representing partner organizations who are actively engaged in the Chamber Board of Directors. We'd also like to recognize these individuals by asking them to stand so we can recognize and thank them for their participation. Rick Miller, Franklin County Commissioner, Leo Bowman, Benton County Commissioner, Mayor Pro Tem Sharon Brown, City of Kennewick, Councilman Brad Anderson, Richlands City Council, Commissioner Bob Larson, Port of Benton, Commissioner Gene Wagner, Port of Kennewick, Randy Hayden, Port of Pasco, Derek Brownson, Ambassador Club Chair, Leslie Call, Pasco School District, Jim Bussey, Richland School District, Lorraine Cooper, Kennewick School District, Chris Cargill, Washington Policy Center, Melissa O'Neill Purdue, WSU Tri-Cities, and Rich Cummins, Columbia Basin College. Join me in a round of applause thanking these individuals for dedication and support of the Regional Chamber. In addition to our excellent Board of Directors, the Chamber is fortunate to have a wonderful Ambassador Club. The ambassadors, a group of 60 volunteers, help the Chamber by attending ribbon-cutting ceremonies, serving as greeters at the Chamber's many events, providing leads for potential new members, and assembling the monthly newsletter and a host of other activities. Many of our ambassadors are here today, and we'd like to ask them to stand so that we can recognize them as well. Could you stand, ambassadors? Wherever you are. Thank you. To introduce the 2011 Ambassador of the Year, I'll invite gold level sponsor Susan Creed, Board Chair of Cadillac Regional Medical Center, to join me on stage. Susan. There you go.
Thank you, Toby. Cadillac Regional Medical Center has enjoyed our involvement with the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce for many years, and is happy to be a gold level sponsor at today's annual meeting, and especially to present the Ambassador of the Year Award. Each quarter, members of the Ambassador Club earn points by participating in the activities that Toby just mentioned. Most activities are worth 2 to 5 points. At the end of the year, ambassadors who earn a minimum of 100 points are awarded bronze, silver, or gold emblems for their name tags. The Ambassador Club is broken into several groups who help the Chamber in various ways, and those teams compete for points as well. Before I announce the Ambassador of the Year Award, I would like to recognize the Team of the Year. And as I read your names, will you please stand so we can recognize you? Kathy Brady, Joe Peterson, Paul Carlisle, Laura Valdez, Jim Carey, Jill Hefter, and Dave Barr. If you would like to join me in recognizing the Team of the Year. Thank you all. And to give you an idea of the level of participation of these ambassadors, the 2011 Ambassador of the Year accumulated 405 points last year. Please help me welcome the 2011 Ambassador of the Year, Jim Carey.
Jim, thank you. Jim, you're a great volunteer, and the Board of Directors and Chamber staff very much appreciate your time and efforts. Thank you. Our next award is the Chamber Star Award. STAR is an acronym for Service, Time, Attitude, and Reliability. And today, this award goes to a board member that truly exemplifies all of these. Again, to announce the Chamber Star is Susan Creed with her Cadillac Regional Medical Center.
Thank you, Toby. As chair of the Cadillac Regional Medical Center Board of Directors, I understand the value of dedicated board members, and I'm so pleased to introduce today's Chamber Star recipient. This board member is a longtime supporter of the Chamber and has volunteered time for more projects than the Chamber can even count. This board member was instrumental in creating the Tri-City Area Chamber Board about 20 years ago and chaired the Board of Directors. This board member has helped bring tens of thousands of dollars to the Chamber through his company's sponsorships. This board member is also very visible and engaged in the community and attends nearly every event the Chamber puts on. As a matter of fact, this board member has earned the nickname Mr. Ribbon Cutting with the Chamber staff. Please join me in recognizing the 2011 Chamber Star Award, which goes to Ron Huey.
Thank you so much, Ron, for all the time you've given to the Chamber and enthusiasm you bring to everything you do. What a great guy. And thank you also, Susan and Cadillac Regional Medical Center, for your gold level sponsorship at today's annual meeting. At this time, I'll turn the program over to Lori Mattson, the Chamber's President and CEO. You're welcome.
No. Actually, thank you, everyone. Toby, before you get too far away, I'd like to present you with a token of appreciation for your leadership to the board in 2011. Many good things have come from the Chamber 6 years ago when the Chambers merged, and you're most definitely one of them. You're a true champion of the Tri-City Regional Chamber. Your passion and excitement for what the Chamber is accomplishing is hard to match. Toby was instrumental years ago when the chambers merged, and she's been dedicated to strengthening and growing the regional chamber. Before her term began, she and I went to lunch. I don't know if you remember this, but I asked Toby what she wanted to accomplish during her year as chair. And the first thing out of her mouth was that she wanted to further the stature of the regional chamber. Well, I would say, Toby, that with your leadership and involvement, the chamber's stature most definitely has been elevated. You've made a lasting mark on the chamber and in the business community. And I just want to tell you on a personal note, I enjoy my job for many reasons, but one of them is most definitely working with you. On behalf of the Board of Directors, the chamber staff, please accept. I have a little thing upside down here. This token of appreciation. It's a John Clement photo that has been engraved with your name and your year as board chair. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks so much. We're good. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It's really so great to look out and see all these familiar faces here today. I'm so proud to stand here as the president and CEO of this dynamic organization, and I want to highlight some of our accomplishments in 2011. Our strategic plan again this year focused on small business programs, advocacy efforts, membership growth and retention, community involvement, and organizational strength. Through the hard work and dedication of 40 board members, 250 plus volunteers, and a professional staff of 9, we accomplished most of what we'd set out to do in 2011. To give you a quick overview of some of these accomplishments, early last year we received a 3-star accreditation with the U.S. Chamber. We awarded $30,000 in essential resources to 42 small businesses through our partnership with Washington River Protection Solutions. We gained 326 new members. 175 of those were during a 3-day member drive in November. Many of you were helpful in getting those new members signed on. We averaged 232 attendees at our monthly luncheons. We led 14 government contracting 101 classes. These classes educate small businesses on how to do business with the government. We held 47 ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings for new and expanding businesses. We hit an all-time high of 800 registered cars at our Cool Desert Nights event last summer. Our messages were heard on 2,574 radio spots, which are promoting the Chamber's events and programs and your business. We wrote 22 letters of support on important legislative issues which affect business. We held 392 Procurement Technical Assistance Center counseling sessions, which resulted in an astounding number, $30 million in small business contracts. These are businesses that are right here in Benton and Franklin County. We filled Columbia Park with 15,000 spectators during our 4th of July fireworks show. We hosted 3 small business roundtables, and we gave away a hole-in-one trip to Hawaii to a sharpshooter at our golf tournament. First time in my 7 years of being with the Chamber. But a recap of 2011 would not be complete without shining the light on our incredible Chamber team, and they're coming up here so they don't have to run. I'd like to introduce them one at a time, please. Camille Kellison is our Chamber's Membership Director. She's been responsible for much of the Chamber's membership growth over the past few years. She's been recognized nationally for the past 3 years, making the top 10 in member sales in the country. Kim Richards is our Programs and Partnership Director, and she is the one we have to thank for putting this successful event together today. Kim has 20-plus years of experience in event management and sponsorship management, and believe me, she knows her stuff. Jens Lee is our Marketing and Communications Director. Poor Jens. Let's everyone turn around and look at Jens. There he is. So Jens is our Marketing and Communications Director, and if it seems like you see the Chamber on TV a lot and read about us in the paper and hear us on the radio, it's because Jens is hard at work promoting the Chamber and our members. Ashley Bennington Coronado is our PTAC counselor, and most people don't remember what PTAC stands for, but they remember Ashley. She's the one counseling small business owners and helping them to get contracts with the government and running the Chamber's Small Business Resource Center. Jessica Tigueris, next, she's one of our Chamber event directors. She's busy working on our 2 summer events, Cold Desert Nights and River of Fire. She also managed the Chamber's first annual Women in Business Forum earlier this year, and she's newly engaged as of last night. Patrick, I'm sure you all see it sparkling up here if you need to put your sunglasses on. Patrick Conrad is our Government Affairs Director. Patrick has only been with the Chamber for a couple of months, but he's hit the ground running and working hard to keep up on legislative issues that affect your business, getting to know our elected officials and community partners. Heather Hoppy is the Chamber's 2nd event director who just joined the Chamber earlier this month. Heather will manage our luncheons, networking events, work with members to schedule ribbon cuttings and groundbreaking ceremonies. And Melinda Hoffman is our office manager. She handles our billing, invoicing, and banking. She keeps our office running smoothly and provides a great deal of support to all of our staff. This team works very hard for the Tri-Cities and for our members. If you could please join me in thanking them for all they do. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, guys. You're good. Thanks so much. At 1,250 members, the Tri-City Regional Chamber is the 5th largest chamber in the state of Washington. That's a number we're very proud of. We're going to be number 4 before long, though. You, our members, are the driving force behind everything we do, and delivering exceptional value for your investment is our priority. Again, I'm so proud to be here as the CEO of this great chamber. I thank all of you for being here today, for your membership, your leadership, and supporting the Chamber's program of work. At this time, we'd like to recognize some of our investors in the Chamber. These are very important people who have impacted the Chamber through their financial support. We have 2 impact awards to present today, one to a community partner organization and another to a corporate member. To help me present our impact awards, I'd like to introduce Diamond Level sponsor Monica Foster, conservation analyst with Cascade Natural Gas. Monica? Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Cascade Natural Gas is happy to be a Diamond Level sponsor of today's annual meeting, and I'm pleased to help recognize a valuable community organization. As Lori mentioned, the Chamber is recognizing a community partner organization whose partnership and involvement with the Chamber has been of great value. This year's recipient of the Impact Award provides a truly valuable resource to the Chamber. Because of this organization's commitment to the community and the Chamber's programs are broadcast throughout the year, literally hundreds of times. If the Chamber had to pay for these resources, it would either cost tens of thousands of dollars, or the Chamber would simply not have the visibility on TV. This members' organization quietly goes about their business and is always behind the scenes. This year, the Chamber would like to shine a much-deserved light on the 2011 Community Partner Organization Impact Award recipient, Charter Communications. Lloyd Swing, please join us on stage so we can recognize you.
Thank you, Lloyd, and thank you so much to Charter for all you do for the Chamber. You can turn on the Charter channel any time of the day and practically see the Chamber programs broadcast all year long. The Tri-City Regional Chamber is very fortunate to have many members who invest a great deal of resources into the Chamber. Many of these companies not only join at upper level tiers, but they invest additional funds in the Chamber, which make a substantial impact on our ability to grow our programs, services, resources, and providing even more value to our members. Before we award our Corporate Impact Award to the member who's provided the greatest amount of financial support, we want to recognize the 9 other companies that round out our top 10. Those companies are Pacific Northwest National Lab. They're a visionary member of the Chamber. GISA Credit Union, and maybe if you're here, let's have you stand so we can all recognize you. I know we've got the lab right down here. GISA Credit Union, they're a corporate level member, premier sponsor of the Business Expo, annual meeting sponsor, and a Network Tri-Cities sponsor. I know there we go, we can stand up. Catholic Regional Medical Center, director level member, annual meeting sponsor, Cool Desert Nights sponsor, and major sponsor of our golf tournament. The City of Kennewick, corporate level member and a major river fire sponsor and partner. Washington Closure Hanford, visionary member of the Chamber. Athena, a luncheon sponsor for the Women in Business Conference. Legends Casino, corporate level member, major sponsor of our annual meeting, title sponsor of last year's golf tournament, and major advertiser in the Chamber's directory. Bechtel National, visionary member of the Chamber, golf tournament sponsor, and elected leaders reception sponsor. City of Richland, director level member and major Cool Desert Nights sponsor and partner, and Business Expo sponsor. Hapo Community Credit Union, as the official sponsor of summer, Hapo is the premier sponsor of our 2 large community events, Cool Desert Nights and River of Fire Festival. They're also an executive level member of the Chamber, golf tournament sponsor, and major advertiser in the Chamber's directory. Please help me thank these members who provided substantial resources to the Chamber. Thank you. And now I'll invite Monica back up, who will help present the Impact Award to the 2011 Top Financial Contributor. Monica?
Thank you, Lori. The recipient of this award is a visionary level member of the Chamber. During 2011, the funds that this company directed toward the Chamber helped to launch 3 new programs. The Meet the Buyer program, where small businesses can hear directly from purchasing departments of government agencies. The Women in Business Conference, which took place in January and featured some of the most successful women leaders in the Tri-Cities. And the Small Business Incentive Program, which provided funding for 42 small business members to receive $30,000 in essential services and resources. These programs were not part of the Chamber's 2011 budget and certainly would not have been offered had this member not been so eager to help the Chamber's small business members. They truly demonstrated the highest level of commitment to the business community. As you've probably already figured out by now, I'm referring to Washington River Protection Solutions. Please help me welcome the President and Project Manager of Washington River Protection Solutions, Mike Johnson.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Monica. I just want to add a quick story. I'd like to add Jerry Holloway and Melissa Gerard are here as well, and they really provided me with one of my most memorable days at the Chamber. Jerry had called and asked me to come meet with he and Melissa. He teed it up by saying that he had some extra community funds and he wanted me to pitch him some ideas of unfunded programs that he could consider. I really didn't know if he was talking about $100 or hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I did have my list of ideas and things that I wanted in my wish list. Our meeting was quite long. Jerry actually left the meeting for a while and came back, and it cost him some more money, but it was obviously quite fruitful. By the time I left their offices, I literally felt like doing cartwheels down the bypass highway. That meeting was a game changer for the Chamber, and I would like to say thank you in front of these 500 business leaders in the Tri-Cities. Thank you for your confidence in our team, believing that we would develop a plan for these programs and deliver. Jerry and Melissa, you've been a true pleasure to work with this year, and the Tri-Cities is so fortunate to have a corporate partner with your stature. We have a whole table of Washington River Protection Solutions. If you could stand so we could all recognize you, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks again to Monica and Cascade Natural Gas for your diamond level sponsorship. And now I'd like to turn the program over to our 2012 Board Chair, John Crook.
Thank you, Lori. Mark Twain said there are two types of speakers, those who get nervous and those who are liars. I'd like to assure you that under this seemingly calm exterior, I'm sweating bullets today. As board chair for 2012, Lori asked me to share my vision for the year and some of my goals. So I have to start with, as Toby made clear, our chamber accomplished great things in 2011, and we're now stronger and more stable than ever. So goal number one, John, don't screw it up in 2012. It's a tough act to follow, Toby. But my second goal is to promote a healthy business environment for our member companies. And when I say a healthy business environment, I'm not referring to the bottom line per se. I'm talking about our responsibility as business leaders to encourage those in our respective organizations to make good choices regarding their physical health. There are compelling reasons to do so. Enhanced productivity, reduced absenteeism, and improved morale, all of which contribute to an improved bottom line. But most of all, I hope to shift the focus on healthcare out of the political arena and into the area of corporate responsibility. I believe that we can make an impact on the cost of healthcare through company policies that support healthy choices and lifestyles. This approach is not without its risks. My brilliant idea of replacing donuts with fruit and yogurt at the monthly Board of Directors meeting resulted in an attempted recall vote for the president, which I narrowly survived. Sometimes it's good to shake things up, and I truly believe a chamber-sponsored health initiative can be fun and stimulating for our members. We'll learn more about this in the months to come as we introduce our Good Health is Good Business program in July. I'm excited to announce today that we'll be honored to have the recent winner of NBC's Biggest Loser program, Kennewick's own John Rode, serve as our keynote speaker for the program kickoff at the July Network Tri-Cities Luncheon. I'm also excited about the ongoing Ruckelshaus study that our chamber is supporting. The mission of the William D. Ruckelshaus Center is to act as a neutral resource for collaborative problem solving in the state of Washington and the Pacific Northwest. It is uniquely a joint venture of Washington State University and the University of Washington. Think about it, how often do you get to say that in a sentence? The Ruckelshaus Group is working with the Three Rivers Community Roundtable to examine ways to increase intergovernmental effectiveness between our numerous local government entities. And finally, the Chamber has taken the lead on a statewide coalition to fix the unintended consequences of Initiative 937, which requires Washington utilities to purchase power they don't need. This cost eventually passes along to the ratepayers, which of course includes chamber member businesses and individuals. I'm proud that our chamber is taking on this challenge on behalf of our members. In closing, it's an honor to serve as board chair this year. I'm committed to living up to the legacy of many great past chairmen, and I welcome your comments and your suggestions throughout the year. Thank you. And now to some fun stuff. We have 3 final awards to present today. The Chamber's Business on a Roll Award. The Business on a Roll Award recognizes a member business that has achieved significant success in 2011. Nominees were evaluated for major revenue growth, adding jobs and hiring new employees, receiving national or industry awards, and being involved in the community. We received many nominations from well-deserved businesses. To give you an idea of the diversity of the qualifications of our nominees, I'll share their statistics. Several members reported over 85% growth in revenue during 2011. Many of the members reported between 40 and 70% growth in employees in 2011. These members have received High Producer Awards, $1 Million Roundtable Awards, International Catering Awards, Franchise of the Year, and Best of the Best Awards for their industries. Due to the great response and large number of applications this year, the Chamber's Award and Recognition Committee increased the number of awards from 2 to 3. One for a member business who employs less than 10 employees, another that employs between 11 and 50 employees, and a third member business that employs more than 50. To help present the first of the 2011 Business on a Roll Awards, please welcome Sean Haggerty, Marketing Manager for our gold level sponsor, Legends Casino. Sean?
Thank you, John. I'm happy to be here today to present on behalf of Legends Casino the Business on a Roll Award for a very deserving business. This Business on a Roll Award is for a member employing less than 10 employees that has experienced a great deal of success in 2011. This business saw revenue growth of 11% and grew their staff from 2.5 to 6 full-time employees. This member and her business partners are in the process of building a nearly 12,000 square foot building where this member will be one of 3 businesses moving in. This member and her staff strive to provide the best experience for their patients and to provide the best primary eye care to the community and patients that she truly cares for. The Business on a Roll for the member employing less than 10 is Desert Valley Eye Care. Dr. Maureen Fahey, please come forward to accept your award.
Congratulations, Dr. Fahey, and thank you again, Legends Casino. To help present the next Business on a Roll Award, please welcome Corey Pearson, Executive Director of our gold level sponsor and today's venue host, the Three Rivers Convention Center. Corey?
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone. The second Business on a Roll Award goes to a member business that employs between 11 and 50 employees. This member business was established in 1998 and just recently opened a second location here in Kennewick. In 2011, this member business doubled their customer base and increased their revenues by 30%. This member business supports community organizations such as the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, Second Harvest, and Dayspring Ministries. This member looks forward to servicing all of the Tri-Cities and providing the best service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The Business on a Roll Award for the member employing 11 to 50 employees is Action Auto Services. Mike Levin, please come forward and accept your award.
Okay, and finally, to help present the last Business on a Roll Award, please welcome Russ Kiefer, Chief Human Resources Officer of our Gold Level sponsor, Kennewick General Hospital.
KGH is both honored and proud to be able to be a gold sponsor level of this event, and it's a real pleasure for us to present this award. The final Business on a Roll award goes to a member business that employs more than 50 employees. This member business was established 31 years ago in 1981 and has grown to be one of the most visible and well-respected in the region. Within 8 years of opening their door for the first time, this member was ready for growth and began purchasing additional franchises and dealerships. The growth has been steady and has taken place for 31 years. This member employs 224 people throughout the Tri-Cities and now operates in all 3 cities, Pasco, Kennewick, and Richland. The personal commitment to respect and individual attention is so strong at this business that they include the word integrity right into their name. Please join me in congratulating the Business on a Roll Award winner, which employs more than 50 people, Bill McCurley, McCurley Integrity Dealership.
Congratulations to Desert Valley Eye Care, Action Auto Service, and McCurley Integrity Dealerships. We wish you and the other nominees continued success. And thank you to Russ and KGH for your gold level sponsorship. Today's annual meeting premier sponsor is Numerica Credit Union. It's now my pleasure to introduce Adrian Smasny, Mortgage Loan Officer from Numerica Credit Union, to deliver the sponsor message and introduce our esteemed keynote speaker.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon for the Chamber's annual meeting and awards luncheon. It is a privilege to have this opportunity to address the Tri-Cities community and to thank you for supporting Numerica's success. Over the last 75 years, Numerica has grown from a small credit union serving railroad employees to over a $1.2 billion credit union serving over 90,000 members in central and eastern Washington and northern Idaho. Although our country's economy has been challenging for most everyone, Numerica believes the future is bright for the Tri-Cities region. Numerica is leading credit union and business lending here in the Tri-Cities. Our business loan portfolio in 2011 showed impressive growth, making it a positive indication that businesses are seeing growth as well. It's time to seize opportunities unique to a growing economy and make innovation technology. At Numerica, we strive to meet our members' technology demands with online banking, not only that gives you balances, but details where your money was spent into budgeting reports, allows you to make automatic payments and transfers, apply for loans, and one easily that translates into mobile banking, which we have over 15,000 users currently. It's also time to give back to the community that has kept Tri-Cities commerce healthy. Our leaders are strong believers in supporting our charitable organizations by donating, volunteering, and actively participating in those programs that make a difference to the lives of our neighbors. This year, you can look forward to seeing Numerica involved in the community more than ever. Here in the Tri-Cities, we're growing our community outreach, our business services, and our home lending to make the Tri-Cities community as successful and vibrant as we know it can be. Thank you for supporting our community by simply joining us here today. It is with great pleasure that I introduce today's keynote speaker, Dan Preston. Mr. Preston is currently a CEO of Eagle Harbor Holdings, LLC. Throughout his career, he has founded and led 6 technology companies and is named inventor on more than 75 patents and pending applications spanning technology in fields such as vehicle entertainment, vehicle safety, and vehicle communications. Under Mr. Preston's leadership and innovation, Eagle Harbor Holdings has spent the previous decade developing a patent portfolio and working systems to enable products such as Bluetooth use in a vehicle, blind spot information systems, lane departure warnings, adaptive cruise control, and automated parking assist. During the late 1980s through the mid-1990s, Mr. Preston's company, Advanced Technologies, was a subcontractor for Westinghouse and Floor Hanford. Dan Preston invented GM's digital OnStar, and through his company Ubiquity, developed that technology from 1996 to 2000. Mr. Preston strongly believes in helping others find good fortune and is currently working with 2 Washington State University student groups, assisting them with no strings attached patents. Dan currently lives on Bainbridge Island with his wife Gina. Please help welcome me, Dan Preston, CEO of Eagle Harbor Holdings and the 2012 Region Alumnus of Distinction Award winner.
John, come and photo for you.
Very good.
We're going to take a quick shot here, and then I'll set it to.
Indeed. You're going to steal this?
I will take that as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kim, for keeping me organized. Do I see you back there? Well, Kim has given me 52 seconds per slide to get the message across, and I see you got a stopwatch. The message here is, how did I get from the average guy at Hanford working on simple projects to through 16 years of hard work and build a $1 billion company. And we did do that, and I have lots and lots of scar tissue to prove it. So we'll start out by talking about state rep prediction using a reverse transition matrix. Oh, my wife said stop that. This is one of the patents. I mostly talk about very, very technical things, and I actually had dinner last night with the folks from Vista and told them that we would at least put in something technical. So I spend most of my time now working on patents, and as an engineer, I didn't take enough English classes because I spend most of my time working with lawyers on words. So Kim's path to prosperity had me go back to dictionary.com and see what that really meant. And I finally did come up with a meaning that did fit us, in that it's a path to prosperity also includes good things that happen. And I had lots of really, really good things happen. I had first a supporting wife who mostly understood. I had great friends, we had good investors, we had great timing, we had hard workers, and really good luck. So the one thing I did figure out is that, and I used this slide a couple of times, is that change is inevitable. And I was just any one of you guys doing things, and opportunities popped up. Even in the 90s, it was getting more and more difficult to get work at Hanford. We were doing work at Hanford and Fernald and the Nevada test site, China Lake, where else were we at? Oak Ridge. And the contracts were getting harder and harder. Money was getting tighter and tighter, and we were looking for some kind of change. When I talked to Kim originally, one of the things we needed to do was tie why I'm here today back to Hanford. And in 95, 96, we were involved in a project called HEADS, H-E-A-D-S, and it was a Hanford emergency dispatch or alarm dispatch. And we were working with the folks at GTE. During that time at GTE, working with GTE, they asked me, geez, do you guys think you could find a cell phone during a 911 call? And so, sure, we were engineers, we could probably figure that out. So we went back to, at that time the company was based in Portland, we went back to Portland. We did begin to figure it out, and one of the things I learned pretty early on was trying to identify a problem we're solving in a market space that actually maybe made sense from a business standpoint. So, solving the problem. This is 1995. OnStar actually did exist as a Motorola product. It was installed in some cars, not all cars. And how could I take GPS, cell phones, and modems and create something unique in that? And we started looking ahead to the inevitable. And we saw that networks were changing. We saw that the analog systems were going away. Processors were faster. Bandwidth was better. And we created a company around the concept of a modem that would work in the digital voice path of a wireless network, which was not understood. And we did get not just one, but around 45 patents in that one particular space, but still didn't have a company. What we did have was a start, and we knew which way we wanted to go. And so I then formed a company called Airbiquity. We had filed the patents. We had an idea, not a lot of money to be able to hire lots of lawyers to file more patents, but we had $100. And the $100 let us file a provisional application. And that started the process. And we filed 3 or 4 patents. Our son was my partner, and a small group of folks came together. And the next thing you know, we've got a company that's becoming viable. The one thing we were missing, just a small detail, was money. And so we knew that we would have to go to a venue like Seattle. It wasn't going to be Richland and Tri-Cities because there's not a lot of venture capital here, probably. There's some in Portland. So we ended up moving to Seattle, which was the second in a number of experiments my wife and I conducted over the years, which included a stint in Mystic, Connecticut. And so off we went to Portland, or off we went to Seattle with a lot of really good ideas, and we started raising money. And the first amounts of money were hundreds, $500,000, which for me was a lot of money. And with that money, we were able to actually generate some first generation product. Somebody asked me even earlier today, did we ever build these things? Today, GPS is common in just about every cell phone out there. And here's one that was done in 1997. This is 15 years ago. GPSs, even 15 years ago, were very large units, but we were able to squeeze it into a battery pack. And this was we actually did this work because of the patents that we had that were now pending. We actually were able to sell work to Nokia, and Nokia paid us to implement and build the system. So we got paid on the customer's dime and take this out and demonstrate it in the networks. And it was successful. And that led to really, really, really good fortune. We went out to Detroit. I'd never been to Detroit through a very, very fortunate set of circumstances. I was introduced to the folks at General Motors OnStar. They were looking for a solution, and we had a solution. And because we had gone to the trouble to build something, because we had the patents filed, it wasn't a fight. It was just a customer coming together with a seller. And we worked out a framework of a deal in late 99, 2000, very, very quietly. And my dad says, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And some people say preparation meets opportunity. And it's kind of good timing, good luck. And now we had a real customer in General Motors. And that has since led to deployment in Ford, BMW, Nissan, and I think you'll see other announcements coming. So we're globally, the technology and the patents are in 3 global markets, and the company is growing. Now, that ties me back, or what ties me and the concept of OnStar directly back to an instance at Hanford as just the engineer guy helping GTE solve a problem. So it could happen to any one of you folks as well. So this is where the path took us. That same average guy was able to raise $100 million. We received $15 million engineering fees from General Motors. We ended up licensing to many folks, all of whom were paying customers. And over a period well, between 2004 and 2008, we're now standard, 2009, standard on every General Motors product that's built globally. So, the lessons learned. I know there's one fellow here who knows about venture capital because we had sort of the same investors. And I told him about this slide, and he sort of laughed. Financing. I got a chance to learn about dilution. I got a chance to learn about liquidation rights, common stock, warrants. I got a chance, and I'm an engineer, but I'm a pretty smart guy. If you take money with 3x liquidation rights and you have sold 1/3 of the company, what part of 3 times 1/3 doesn't equal 1? So I told my wife, I said, well, let's finish this as a project. Let's learn the lessons, and maybe we'll go build another one. And so the point here is finance carefully and take time to understand what it means. So then the question becomes, could I do it again? So I took a year off with my wife and fixed all the bathrooms, fixed the yard, fixed the car. I did. And she says, can't you get like a real job? So I said, sure. Well, by that time, nobody had hired a guy like me, so I started a company and hired myself. So we started a company called Medius, and I brought a group of guys together, and we tried to identify the problem we're solving. And so we thought we had a lot of experience in airplanes, we had a lot of experience in defense work, and could we bring some of those experiences, tools that we had to the automobile industry. We had just emerged from the automobile industry with an OnStar product, which was 911 assist. That was a good problem we're solving. And so we put together Medius. And in fact, when we formed Medius, we didn't even know what we were going to be doing. So I went to the Latin to English translator on the website, on the whatever Google translator, and I started looking for words, and I knew we wanted to be in the middle of something. So the word medius was Latin for middle. So I thought, well, we'll be in the middle of something, middleware or something. But so anyway, Medius was formed. And we had, and this is a very, very carefully placed word, an intended path. We hired staff. We had 7 patents. We filed 7 patents issued. We built prototypes. We came under contract to Motorola, Magna International, Honda, Takata, and some others, Delphi. And everybody liked our stuff that we were teaching and designing. And guess what? The auto industry on this intended path actually did adopt and implement our patents. That's a courtroom. So now, new lessons. Even though I had successfully licensed 40, 50 patents to General Motors, Delphi, Samsung, Sony, and others, if I was going to monetize the patents that we had just developed, it was going to take a different path than selling to the industry, because by this time, sync and the patents we had were underneath sync, blind spot detection, lane departure warning, it's called cross traffic alert. All these things, our patents are underneath because they were extensions of things that you'd find in airplanes. So the epic battle starts. And on this particular path, I hired 6 law firms, have 14 lawyers. And this is a lady who was a CNN International anchor, but now she's with NPR. And she sort of liked the story because it was a David and Goliath story. And we were the little guys trying to, make right with the big guys. So the lesson here was big companies sometimes make decisions that may be adverse to guys like me. And so I had to, unfortunately, we had to file a lawsuit against Ford. And that happened last June. And it's sort of on rails. It just, in other words, it's lawyers at 20 paces. It's what you'd expect. I spend the majority of my time either working with lawyers or pretend like I'm a lawyer. So could we do it again? Does this sound like a theme? My life? My wife says, you're 62. Aren't you supposed to retire? Sure. Change is inevitable, so I never forgot lesson number one, that change was inevitable. So we formed a company called Eagle Harbor Holdings. And we started it 2 years ago on January the 1st. And I had a good friend call me who's a banker. He had of Barclays. He was a real banker, Wall Street guy. It's 2010. He's done. And he called and he says, geez, I quit my job and I'd like to come to work for you. I said, well, Sam, good luck with that, but come on down. Of course, my son is a partner of mine, always has been, and probably will be until we all retire. But so Sam came on board, and we started shaping Eagle Harbor. And then I decided one day, we were in the middle of, over here I have lawsuits, and I said, man, I need a lawyer. I'm making all kinds of decisions. And the next thing we knew that a top Seattle lawyer from K.L. Gates kind of hit the wall, quit. And so Jeff Harms. So he shows up 2 days after he quits K.L. Gates. By the third day we've met, he now's full-time. He's general counsel. I didn't know I needed a lawyer. He didn't know he needed an engineer, but came together. He has great credentials. The last guy there was Dave Marzin. Dave was VP Technology Intel, little company down in Oregon. He was COO of Networks. Been retired since about 1950. Been retired since about 2001, sorry. 2001. He would be really old, older than me old. So anyway, he was retired, and I called him and I said, Dave, what are you doing? He says, I'm in South Africa. I said, well, what are you doing? He says, I'm riding my motorcycle on a 7,000-mile journey. So I told him what we were doing. He's on his satellite phone. He says, I'm in. So this is Dave's first real job since he left Intel. He was consulting with BP on things like the oil spill and some other stuff, but that wasn't much fun. So Dave joined us, and I said, your job is to help me figure out what it is that we do, or how did I do this? You know, I'm just this guy that invented this stuff, and now all of a sudden, I'm involved in lawsuits, I've got real customers, and so that's Dave's job. So, how many of you have heard what a patent troll is? Ken does. Ken talks to patent trolls occasionally. Patent trolls are lawyers from Chicago, Dallas, East Texas that buy or get control of patents, and they file lawsuits. And the lawsuits are nuisance lawsuits. And if you're Battelle and it's a nuisance lawsuit, it may cost you $250,000 to defend it. Why not just write a check for $250,000 to make it go away? So that's patent trolls. Well, that's not who we are. So as we put Eagle Harbor together, and as it started to evolve, we knew for certain that we were in the rights management business. I mean, because we had patents. We have lots of patents. We generate patents, and we've actually started to acquire some patents. We're nurturing ideas with other folks. So we develop, acquire, or license patents, and then we spin out companies and see if we can put legs under them. We invest in them ourselves. And I think we spun out 2 or 3, and I'll cover them here in just a second. And we also acquired a company. The first acquisition, which really plays back to some of this audience's interests, is a company called American Metals Recovery. And AMR was a company I didn't know much about, but I really, really liked the patents because they were so well written. And so we bought the company, and a well-written patent typically has legs. You can do something with it. So we bought it, and not knowing what, by the way, for those of you in the environmental, this particular technology remediates KO61. KO61 is what's called electric arc furnace dust from I guess they're smelters and such. So we bought the company, and its current focus is licensing. We are actually in discussions with a first big customer that we're pretty tickled about. From that, we took the technology and we evolved it, and that evolution created a company called Elixis. And using the same process of the extraction, we found that we could remove the metal from coal fly ash. Now, what we've done is formed a partnership with P&L, and we're negotiating with a big outside sponsor. We've got I point to Jim here from P&L. We've got some now industry buy-in from a group down south, and looks like this is going to have some legs under it. And again, both of these problems, American Metals, it's remediation, it's a problem we're solving. This company, you look at coal fly ash, we generate 100 million tons a year. That's a problem we're solving. And if we can take that stuff and turn it into a slow release fertilizer, really starts to make sense. So we'll see what happens. The jury's out on that. We evolved it again, and this time we looked for another problem that we could solve, or what would the technology work on. And we formed a company called Emergent Metals. And the problem we're solving is the recovery of strategic metals from electronic waste. And it makes sense. It's the right thing in terms of sustainability. Even the KO61, it's getting harder and harder to mine zinc. So this is another spin out. And then we're not constrained to technologies that deal with remediation. The old guy in the corner is me. My wife goes crazy because I buy junk on the internet all the time. And I've been a technical diver for 46 years. We still dive all the time. And this guy developed, he's an innovator. He was an Imagineer for Disney. And the more I talked to him, the more I liked what he was doing. And he had developed this is all tactical gear for the military. And he had developed in the center picture there, basically a modular rebreather. And it's a low-cost item that you'd use in the military. And I was the safety diver of the day. So we did this last week. We have these every bi-weekly, what do we call them? Well, not boondoggle, that's the wrong word, because it's a field trip. Yeah, field trip. It's a company field trip. So we go down, we test gear. pool. Week before that, we were invited in to solve a problem in a tunnel boring machine under Seattle. And they don't make a lot of tunnel boring machines. Maybe there's 1,000 of them in the world. But we got to crawl in all the way to the front of the tunnel, 9,000 feet. We climbed up into this machine that was 350 feet long, all the way up to the pressure bulkhead, and they guide it with 1985 technology. And so we came out and conceptualized a new solution, because we knew about some defense tricks, and we're currently developing intellectual property patents around a guidance system for TBMs. And it also will give us an as-built of the tunnel over the course of the dig, and also how the tunnels tend to settle, and they want to know what that number looks like. This is just kind of fun. I shouldn't be probably doing stuff like this, but it was a road trip, and so anyway. So at this point in my life, my wife and I are talking now about giving back, and it's really important to us. There's lots of ways that you can give back, and one is, could I teach this to somebody? So I'm a strategic advisor to Olympic College, which is a small campus. It looks like the campus that's here at WSU, and I was there this morning. And I went there and I began to see that there was something I could do. I was asked a couple of times, geez, could you teach what you do? I don't even understand quite what I do. I don't know how I do it. They're trying to tell me how I do this. So we met with the staff, and I put together a course. It's a 2-semester course, and actually it's 3 semesters. The first semester was without us because they didn't need us, but the last 2 semesters were hands-on, and it's their capstone. This is probably not much different than STEM-type programs that one would find in a high school. So we have 2 student groups, and we met in November, and they started rallying around some ideas. Well, we quickly destroyed them. But we destroyed them nicely, and we showed them how we could weave them a little bit. And I mean, it was pretty funny. They literally, their idea was already thought of. It's on YouTube. We showed it to them. But we showed it to them after we'd steered them to the new place. And so through November, December, January, we were helping the students. January 1st, this all starts formally. So we meet with the students twice a week. So we have 2-hour periods. We have 2 student groups, sort of competing, I suspect, internally. We put the entire coursework together for them, and then the output is filing of the patent. And what we've agreed to do, at no strings attached to the students, is to underwrite the patent costs. So for us giving back to these students, there's 12 or 15 of them, it's $30,000, $40,000 that somebody would spend. And we're doing that. In fact, one of the students who was a little bit older, with a jaundiced look and his arms crossed, leaning back in his chair, what's in it for you guys? I said, funny you should ask that. Nothing. It's a pay forward. There were guys that helped me get to where I'm at now. Guys at Hanford, there were guys in Seattle, there were guys all over that helped me get to where I'm at today. And I said, this is simply me reaching down and going to try to make a difference in your resume, at least. Going out to the real world, having the ability to say, I know how to analyze a file wrapper. I know how to write a claim. I've written a patent. I am an inventor. That's strong. I mean, a guy like me who hires guys like that kind of skill set in my business would be pretty interesting. And you don't normally find that. And so it was an experiment. And the judge and the jury are still out, but we are, I feel, very, very good about where they've gotten to. And I think we'll file about the 20th of April. And I think there's also probably there's some kind of a judging going on, and whether it's part of a business plan thing the WSU puts on, I'm not really certain. But anyway, we also gave them an exposure to corporate America. Dave Marzing, I mean, he's former COO, Intel, he's adjunct professor, MIT Sloan. This is a real guy. People pay lots of money to listen to this guy. He's there in their face every week, helping them, answering questions. You got a world-class lawyer answering questions about LLCs and operating agreements and how you take finance. Sam's giving them advice on, you know, what not to do and how to do this. Of interest, one of the ideas touches on healthcare, which you and I'll talk about. But the other idea touches on hybrid batteries. And they identified a problem we're solving. They reached in and went to the inevitable. They brainstormed out a solution. And we've already got a potential first customer for them in terms of licensing. And we're waiting for the filing to disclose to them what the technology is. So we're pretty happy. And we'll do this again. We were with Vista last night, and I know their involvement, Vista Engineering. I know their involvement in the STEM program. We are now involved in the STEM program, so it's in the, at Bainbridge, it's in the high school. I think they're behind you guys in terms of schedule and what you've done, and I've heard some really, really good things. But, you know, it's another area that we're focused on. It's a little bit about giving back. So, as part of the experiment, we are not venture capitalists. I'm the janitor who won the lottery. That's it. So I tell my dad, he doesn't believe that. Anyway, so how could I extend a path to you guys without being T-Rex? That's not our business. I know what that feels like. I have teeth marks to show you. We would be interested in new technologies. We're buying companies. We're not afraid of very early ideas. If somebody has an idea, we would work with them on the intellectual property side of it. There's a lot of things that we can do. This is all beginning to unfold, and we're not really certain. It's an experiment, but it feels pretty good. I'm waiting for the lawyers. That would make me gray than I am today. So not afraid of bench to business. I mean, we're looking for ideas. And I hope you know, as the janitor from Hanford here, that we're approachable. All the guys are, in fact, if you go to our website and look at who the guys are, there's me holding a fish, there's Dave in his dive gear, there's Joe on his bike. So, I mean, it's just, and everybody's wearing blue jeans, so anyway. So, my path to prosperity brought me lots of things, brought us lots of things, which was friends, really good fortune, and my dad is 86, is happy to report to me last month that he is now semi-retired. He's in the same business I'm in, a different intellectual property. He's a writer. But so I may be genetically, unfortunately, sweetheart, disposed to work on for some more years. The bathrooms are all fixed. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And the last lesson is you really do need a spouse that supports you in your crazy ideas. And my wife has always been there to support me. Sometimes she'll, are you sure? Aren't you supposed to retire? So anyway, well, thank you very much for inviting me. Kim, am I close to the right time?
Thank you so much.
You bet.
I appreciate you being here. I'm going to say a few parting words. Dan, thank you so much. You know, this is a very inspiring message for those crazy entrepreneurs in the audience. We all have an opportunity, I think, if we take your example of looking for the need and finding, solving the problems. We're closing up here and want to give a final congratulations to all of the award winners today. And real quickly, a final thank you to our sponsors, our premier sponsor, Numerica Credit Union, our diamond sponsor, Cascade National Gas Corporation, our gold sponsors, Kennewick General Hospital, Three Rivers Convention Center, Legends Casino, Cadillac Regional Medical Center, and Agri Northwest. Our silver sponsors, Mid-Columbia Leadership Development Association, the Marcus Whitman Hotel and Conference Center, the Tri-City Herald, KNDU TV, the Tri-City Area Journal of Business, Town Square Media, Wild Horse Resort and Casino, and Washington River Protection Solutions, and our bronze sponsors, Bettendorf's Printing and Design, John Clement Gallery, Washington Policy Center, American Leak Detection, WGU Washington, Fluor Federal Services, the Port of Kennewick, Charter Business, Brashears Professional Photography, and Western States Insurance. And thank you all for attending our annual meeting. We look forward to another year of prosperity in the Tri-Cities. Thanks for being here today.